Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Bunch Formation After Dark. I'm your
Mm.
host, Chris. He is David Ubben. We are going
Yep.
live right now. Cal just beat Louisville in overtime.
Whip route.
Alabama's holding on against LSU. Been a somewhat uneventful, but somewhat eventful day in college football, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about here. Appreciate everybody who's there. The numbers are climbing and climbing right now. Jump in the comments. Feel free to get to that. David, how you doing?
I'm good. I didn't believe in the ACC, and if you did, you probably had a bad Saturday night. But I tell you who I do believe in, Chris, is the Indiana Hoosiers and Omar Cooper's right foot. Yeah.
Left foot. Left foot.
No,
Left foot.
the right foot was the one that was in.
No, it's the left foot was the one that was in. It was that he was
I don't think
looking.
that's
No,
right.
it was left foot. We're gonna
That's right.
let more and more people come in. I actually had this one instead of just going through the YouTube. This one's also going through Twitter, and we have a lot more people on, so that might be the reason right now.
All right.
Bunch Formation After Dark people, you're the first ones to see. I finally got a new haircut. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. I've been needing to get it.
Yeah.
Finally did that on Friday before Tulane Memphis, which itself was a crazy game. Rock 88F. The ACC is committed to not making the playoff despite all odds. Let's start there real quick. You have Louisville go down to Cal in overtime. Number 15, Louisville. Number 14, Virginia goes down to Wake Forest at home. Chandler Morris missed the second half of that game.
Yeah.
And now you have no more teams unbeaten in ACC play. You'll have none of them ranked in the top 15 probably next week's playoff ranking.
Probably none in the top 20.
Well, Miami will stay up there.
Miami.
Yeah. But for everybody who's in there right now, thank you for watching the stream. Please subscribe to Bunch Formation wherever you listen to podcasts. David and I do a weekly show Mondays and Thursdays, and now we are also doing live Tuesday nights during the CFP rankings. Sometimes we do this show, the After Dark show, on Saturday nights when we're both at home and not at a game. Neither of us were at a game this weekend. So should we start there with the left foot, Indiana, Penn State?
The right foot, you mean? Yeah, I think we should.
It was the left foot. It was his. It was the inside foot, and he was facing the camera.
I don't think that's right. Either way, it was an incredible catch, incredible play. Fernando Mendoza goes 80 yards with the boys. I like this Indiana team. Listen, dominance is dominance. You probably would have liked to have seen it a little bit more, but Penn State still has dudes. Obviously, there's no Drew Aller, but they're going to be more competitive on the lines than just about anybody else that Indiana plays. And you saw that today. They had a lot of trouble blocking them. Dennis Sutton was going nuts on them today. Fernando Mendoza, he was in his lap the whole day. So just a gutsy win from Indiana. And these are the kinds of games that if you're going to have a season of destiny, you got to win. And what a game. This Indiana team is just fun. They win in very fun ways. You got Mendoza, crying after games. You got Signetti, being Signetti. We gotta. He's so good for the sport, and he's so entertaining. And did you see his pregame interview? Also,
I didn't see the pregame one. Oh no! Yes, I did. Yeah,
they're talking about you've never won here. He's like, well, this team's never won here, and then looked like he was just gonna leave and stuck around. But either way, the swagger, Indiana football. Just having endless swagger and then backing it up on the field is a reality that I don't know that the world was prepared for, but we're living in it. It's very fun. Shout out to Sig Nasty, friend of the show. We love it.
He has not been on the show. He's not a friend of the show, but he's a friend to us. Dr. Morpheus in the comments says, "Hey guys, how about them dogs?" I got one thing to say to Dr. Morpheus and all the new people there in the chat.
What's up, Trevor?
I tweeted this out today. You know what's up, Trevor? It was SMU by 32 points when the buzzer sounded in that game. So 1-9, tough run for BC and BOB there.
Yeah, I mean Indiana, it feels like there's always teams of destiny that they just win some games that you're not sure how they did. Everybody who goes on this path has a couple of games like that. And that's what Indiana's was. And by the way, it wasn't 80 yards with the boys. It was 87 yards because he took a sack on the first play of that drive. I thought the clock management in that final bit was surprising. It felt like Indiana spiked the ball too early because they had time
I
left.
didn't like wasting it down there at all. I was like, this is college football. Like, if you have 2 minutes, you really don't need any time. If you have 2 minutes in the ball, just like run offense. Be smart about it. Don't take sacks, but.
And it ultimately led to Penn State getting the ball with like 40-something seconds left, getting into almost field goal range. Then they waste their last timeout instead of spiking the ball, which they should have done. And it ends with a Hail Mary attempt that falls short. So it was a lot there. Let me pull up my notes. What else I had from this game? Indiana, by the way, no longer the losingest program in college football history. Congratulations.
Clap it up. Clap it up. Is now, football school, baby. Football school.
That is now Northwestern, which lost on Friday and got fake punted by a fake quarterback, fake punter, who now has surpassed Indiana.
I got a question for you though, Chris, because you get hot about this issue as well. I always say that like Nirvana was the best and worst thing to happen to music because they're like singularly great, but they inspired some of the worst music that's ever been created. And Indiana, singularly great story for college football. But whatever, breath patience had in its lungs and belief that like your coach could get it eventually, Indiana is like the trump card for like, why didn't we win a national championship in year 2? Do you feel like Indiana, being Indiana, is good or bad for college football as a whole?
It's good. I understand what you like. I've made this point to you, which was like, and it's Vanderbilt to an extent too. Like Indiana and Vanderbilt have broken the brains of all other college football fans.
Yeah.
Who now see
if they can, why not us?
If they can, why are we not doing it right now? And so we have to fire our coach after 2 years, which is what Michigan State feels like because they hired Jonathan Smith in that same coaching carousel. But it could also lead to, hey, maybe we should find the next Curt Cignetti and not just find the next hot SEC coordinator or another Power 5 coach somewhere. Maybe there's a guy who's a bit older but has been winning consistently and can move up and keep winning. I think
his name's Willie Fritz and his name is Lance Leipold. These things have worked out well. If a guy's been winning for 3 decades at smaller places and he gets a bigger job, traditionally they keep winning. But yeah.
So this whole game was I didn't. By the way, the YouTube TV ESPN thing is killing me. Like, I'm able to watch ESPN. I've tried to sign up for Fubo. It just doesn't work. It's not taking my payment. I cannot get it to work. But what I have
done, a good business plan. Let's have it hard for our people to pay. That's good.
I watch on the ESPN app and I use my parents' Xfinity login. So I'm able to put that up. But I had no multi-view options. Even though it has multi-view, all I could get multi-view on was NHL games for some reason. Don't know why. So I had to put some of it on my TV, some of it on my iPad, try to get some computer in. And so I had Indiana Penn State on in the background for a long time. They're up, 10 points or so. They're about to put this away. And then I think Singleton breaks that really long run where the referee makes 2 key blocks to set up the long run.
You got to read the second level. You got to read the second level.
And all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Penn State's got the lead on a screen pass. And you're like, what the heck is going on here? Indiana's really about to blow this. They get to 3rd and 11. And instead of calling a timeout, they take the delay of game, or at least they get called for delay of game. I don't know if they purposely didn't call timeout or not. I didn't like that decision because 3rd and 11 is much more manageable, either to convert or to set up 4th and short than a 3rd and 16. So I didn't like that there. It ultimately worked out time-wise, but so it comes back down to Penn State, and they've got 3rd down, and if they can convert, they're winning the game. And they bring in the ultra heavy offensive line package. They do the naked rollout, throw to a tight end short of the sticks. Did you think that was a cowardly call from Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think people really, in late game situations, overestimate the value of not turning it over and underestimate the value of a 1st down. Like, if you let's say you're in a situation like that, if you throw on second down when they're loading up, selling out against the run, and you get a first down, I mean, if the way that coaches call that situation, you'd almost think like, oh, that'd be so, that'd be the worst thing in the world. Like you get into those situations, it's like throwing just to be throwing in that. I don't like it. I think in general, a lot of coaches get in the situation where they're coaching scared when you need a couple first downs, and they're just like, well, if we can't get it, run, and maybe we'll run some read option or we'll run a little misdirection with the quarterback where he's running half speed and the ball covered up, in two hands. Like then we're just not going to get the first down. We're going to put the game in our defense's hands. Contextually, sometimes that makes sense. I think in a situation like that, I definitely think it doesn't. And obviously it cost them.
And so, I mean, look, Indiana still had to drive down the field to win the game, and they make that. Penn State was just all out blitzing, like every play. Fernando Mendoza's just getting hit every play, got to get it up. Even that winning touchdown pass, he's just like, throw it up.
Yeah,
and
they're bringing like 6 guys.
Mm-hmm. And makes an unbelievable catch. When it happened, I thought there was no way he caught it. Like they ruled touchdown.
No,
like,
live it looked like he clearly.
I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, he had to have been pushed up on. And then they show the replay and they show the left foot, the right foot's coming down first, but then it like stops, and the left foot goes down. And have you seen the clip of Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler watching it from their game?
Play?
Yeah.
No. No.
I saw it. Kirk posted it on Instagram, and they're like, they couldn't believe it either. And before we get into Fernando Mendoza and the Heisman, Gus Johnson, we are fans of him.
To quote the late great philosopher Jordan Hudson, we're not talking about this.
Gus Johnson combusted. He broke. The wires exploded, and there's only one or two other. The touchdown happens, and it's too much for Gus Johnson, and he like words cannot come out, and he like resets, and he's like high pitched, and the only other time I can remember that is when Ohio State Xavier in that NCAA tournament at Kentucky. The tie goes to overtime or something like that. That was the only time I can remember Gus Johnson like not having it. We are Gus Johnson fans on this show. I
would call myself the foremost Gus Johnson appreciator, even though he did big time me the one time I met him in person. We aren't going to talk about that story either.
We're going to need to talk about that at some point, I think. I met him once at the Fiesta Summit deal. The Fox people bring their people out there. But shout out to Detroit City, Gus Johnson. We are fans of Gus Johnson.
Major.
If you guys are fans or not fans, let us know in the comments, please. We want to get your reactions to Gus Johnson. I love Gus Johnson. Everything about that last 5 minutes of the game was elevated because of Gus Johnson. And so, but he blew the call on the play, which is really unfortunate.
Listen, that's like that. Listen. I say this as somebody who went to a Ludacris concert at 10 a.m. earlier this season. This is like going to a Rolling Stones concert and being like, you know what, Mick's voice is kind of like shot a little bit. It's like, yeah, man, that's because he gave you all of the beautiful moments that have colored your path until this moment, and the cost of it was, the man's got a beat up larynx. It's okay.
Yeah, like he elevated it and then he just missed a call at the end. I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, Gus Johnson actively makes things worse for me. I hate it.
Yeah, the internet has turned on Gus, but I'm still on Gus's corner.
They turned on him when they made him do soccer, which is crazy to think about in retrospect, why they had him do that. But I like it. I've watched the play so many times, and I don't know. He missed the call, but it's almost unique in that sense that he did miss it.
Yeah.
But we are still.
Sean McDonough's voice cracked on the trouble with the snap, and people appreciate it. Over here, I appreciate an oxygen-free squeal.
I should probably cut that into a drop to add to the show as well. We
Yeah.
should add more Gus drops, really, to the show.
I mean, I had a Gus soundboard that I was on the internet that I played with like a lot. There's so many Gus drops from his time in the NBA. So obviously the tournament ones and
Today's kids I think some of the Gus Johnson maybe like people don't remember when he did the NCAA tournament. Like that's when he became who he was.
that's why I love him, and I love that he's come over to now my favorite sport. Like I guess I get that, but like when Gus was doing an NCAA tournament game and it was coming down to the wire, sports have never been better than in that moment.
Yeah, and they were going to be good because Gus Johnson was on the call. All right, let's talk about Fernando Mendoza right now.
Yeah. I would like to preface this conversation by I think the idea of Heisman moments is one of the dumbest conversation pieces that we have in sports. What the Heisman moment should be is, hey, this person had an otherwise great season, and this is just kind of the play that we're probably going to remember from that. And what it has become, like, it's devolved into this thing of like, oh, he's been great, but like, where are his Heisman moments? We need to find his Heisman. It went from just like a thing you would say to almost like a metric that makes me want to throw my phone against the wall.
Well, it's almost like self-serving because it is implying that people who are not watching the whole thing just saw him make a game-winning play. There's the moment. Because here's what Fernando Mendoza's final numbers were against Penn State. 19 for 30, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Obviously the winning touchdown at the end. Meanwhile, 1 week prior, Julian Sayin against the same Penn State defense, 20 for 23, 316 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, Julian Sayin does have the 2 best wide receivers in the country, and Indiana was without Elijah Surratt. So that was a factor. But do I think it's fair that this is going to boost Fernando Mendoza's Heisman case? Not really, because of what I just said. If they had just run away with this game, it wouldn't have helped them as much. But I've always kind of taken the Ari Wasserman approach to Heisman voting, which is like, it's kind of like, what is the story of the season? And thus far, Indiana is one of the top stories of the season. And winning a game like that because of some throws that Fernando Mendoza makes in the game-winning drive helps him. Now, does it make sense?
Yeah.
No. But that's my feeling.
So the way that I approach the Heisman is a little bit different. You do need to have an impact on your team. Like, I'm not a you got to win every game sort of person, but like, you need to be the reason why your team is excellent. This is why I have a hard time getting there with Julian Sayin, because the defense is number one. For me, Smith and Tate are 2A and 2B, and he's kind of number 3. And that, like, so the idea that we're saying he's the best player in the country just doesn't hold water with me. And so that's part of where I go is, 1, are you the reason why your team is excellent? 2, if I just say you're the best player in college football, does that pass muster? So that's important to me. And 3, who makes me just say wow like the most to me?
Yeah.
And so, like, Jeremiah Love's not getting enough love for the Heisman. I think he deserves to be in the conversation. Mendoza's in the conversation.
I'll tell you what, Jeremiah
Ty Simpson's playing at a really high level right now.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the final numbers from LSU Bama, but I had Ty Simpson number 1, Mendoza number 2. That's where I had been the last couple of weeks.
I don't put a lot of thought of it until like kind of like heading into championship week. I really
David, they ask us to give our ballots to the Athletic on Sunday. Yeah. So you have to have thought about it a little bit.
Seconds on it, to be honest with you.
So at Rock 88F, Jeremiah Love, I don't think he'll win, but he has to be in New York. I think part of the problem for Jeremiah Love is that he didn't do a ton in those first 2 games when they lost. And so a lot of his, like, he's back otherworldly performances like tonight against Navy have come against lesser competition when we don't have as many eyes on Notre Dame. Like I watched the USC game. I've not continually watched Notre Dame in most of their games because they are simply overmatched by who they are playing. So like I had Mendoza up there, Simpson's up there, Julian Sand has to be up there.
Chris, I got a trivia question for you.
What's up?
There are 90 quarterbacks in college football who have thrown 200 passes this year. And there's only one who hasn't thrown an interception. Do you know who that is?
Is it the guy from UConn?
Joe Pagano from UConn, who is also fourth nationally with 22 touchdown passes. I don't know that I haven't watched a ton of UConn. I watched them a little bit today against Duke. They beat Duke today.
They beat Duke.
If I'm looking for that third spot on the ballot, to me, this is the weakest Heisman year we've had in quite some time. Like, there's not anyone that jumps out to me.
It's really too bad. It's too bad Ashton Genty was the same year as Travis Hunter.
Ashton Genty would be running away with it, literally. And a lot of times, especially in weak years, where I don't necessarily feel like there's three guys who like deserve the award, then I'll use that third spot for like somebody that like I think is singularly great that is not really getting enough love. And we'll see how the season plays out. Like Ruben Bain is a guy that I kind of toyed with putting in that third spot.
It's hard with what Miami's doing, though. Is the problem?
Like Joe Pagano, like 22 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's got UConn. What are they?
He's not in the Heisman conversation though, but
I know, but my point is just he's had a nice year. It's worth.
You know who? 1, 2, 3, 4. You know who was fifth in Heisman odds entering this weekend? You'll have no idea.
Trinidad Chambliss,
Gunnar Stockton.
No. See that? Listen, this is the Stetson Bennett problem. Where if you're trying to tell me like the Heisman is for the most outstanding player in college football, and people can define that in a bunch of different ways. But if you tell me that person is the best player in college football, that has to like just pass the smell test. And so that's why people who voted for Stetson Bennett a few years ago, like that was outrageous to me. It's like, how do you watch an entire season of college football and say Stetson Bennett is the best player in the sport when he was like the fourth best player on his own team? Like, it's just lazy. Like, oh, well, he's the quarterback who touches the ball a lot. Like, okay, yeah. But like,
so real quick, UConn, they're now 7-3. They're going bowling for the third time in 4 years. And before Jim Mora had got there, they had won like one game the previous like 2 or 3 years. Like they were so bad. He is doing such a good job there that is really underappreciated. And the reason it's underappreciated is because they're an independent. And UConn fans got all mad at me when I said they should join Conference USA for football because then they're something to play for, and they got all mad at me. But like, this is why, like, you're not playing for anything. All right, you're going to a bowl game, but like, that's it. Week to week, there's no other reason for other fans to pay attention to you. And Dwayne The Rock Hudson in the comments, is Jim Mora Jr. going to get looks for open P4 jobs? I think so.
Yeah, like, I mean, listen, with the way the coaching carousel is looking right now, there's many worse coaches who are going to be getting looks for open P4 jobs.
And Jim Mora did a better job at UCLA than Chip Kelly did after him.
Yes.
Like, that is worthy of something. By the way, reminder for people who are watching live, we're over 1,500 people in here right now. I can't believe this. Please subscribe to the podcast. If you don't, we do the show Mondays and Thursdays. We're also go live on Tuesdays on the YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, please go to Bunch Formation Podcast on YouTube and subscribe there.
You can chat with us on YouTube. We can see your comments on YouTube. We can't see them anywhere else. So yeah.
For people who for people unaware, until Saturday, the old podcast that ended, David and I started up this new show in the spring, and we've just been growing it ourselves independently. Yes, and we've been really grateful for all the support and all the people who have been listening and coming along. It's been growing steadily every week.
It's been fun. We still bring back the turnover chain. We got a champion up here. What we got? Yeah, we pod like a champion.
You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here.
Chris, let's talk about BYU Texas Tech today.
Let's talk BYU Texas Tech.
So my biggest takeaway from this, and I think people got mad at me because I wrote about it, is there was this idea that, well, Texas and Oklahoma are gone from the Big 12. And it's going to be wide open every single year. And last year, that was kind of the case. We've sort of seen that, even towards the end, a lot of years it was kind of open. I think Texas Tech might just be buying their way to juggernaut status. We'll see if BYU can keep up, oil money versus the Church of, Latter-day Saints is quite a financial
BYU's got
matchup.
money.
I
BYU's got
know.
money, by the way.
So, I could see them buying their way into, a similar sort of situation, even though, there's still some discomfort from that, where there is not, where Texas Tech's big boosters are concerned. This is what they're going to be. They're just dominant, man. They're playing a different sport than the rest of the league, and they just have been destroying everyone other than the weird game against Arizona State on the road, without Baron Morton. Baron Morton, it's weird because as good as this team is, I think he's probably, if you were ranking the positions, quarterback would be near the bottom with this team. But I do think when a team is missing its starting quarterback going into a game, I think that can affect them in different ways. And they just looked really out of sorts in that game. But when they've been full strength, they have absolutely demolished people. I think their average margin of victory right now is 30.6 points. They put a hurting on Utah. They beat a really good BYU team today. Texas Tech, this isn't you go look at their 2026 recruiting, you go look at what they're doing. This is the start of I'm gonna call it a dynasty because I think they can rule the Big. Chris.
Dude,
I think they can rule the Big 12 for the next 5 years, at least, maybe the next decade. What they do on the national stage, we will see. But to me, it almost rings, and I don't mean this to be insulting, but it's the closest thing that we have in the sport. It's like Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference in basketball, where you're probably not going to go toe to toe with the Georgia and Alabamas every year. But you're going to be a factor. You're probably coming out of the Big 12 a lot more years than you're not. And the Big 12 is not, I think, if you can have this and have the kind of talent, and credit to Joey McGuire, we talked to a bunch of coaches before the season, and they were all, you could kind of sense it. They were sort of hoping that it was going to be just mercenary hour. And the first time they went 3 and out, they'd be punching each other on the sidelines and quitting the team and taking their checks and running. That's not what we've seen. And everyone, I haven't been out to Lubbock this year. Everyone that goes out there says they can sort of feel the togetherness. And we heard today, Joe McGuire saying our superpower is how much we love each other. That's I don't know if that's a bar. That's an interesting quote. But Texas Tech, this is sustainable for a long time.
No, your superpower is that nobody can block your front seven.
Yeah,
that's
a pretty good superpower too. Being able
to
rush the passer and stop the run.
I can't. You can't say dynasty yet because it's a team that has never played for the Big 12 championship. Now they finish with UCF and West Virginia, so they are going to, for the first time, play for the Big 12 championship. They will likely play the winner of BYU Cincinnati, unless there's some other surprising shenanigans. But BYU Cincinnati both have one loss in Big 12 play.
Chris, let me ask you this: if I gave you in the next 10 years over under Texas Tech Big 12 titles 4.5, what would you take?
Over 10 years?
Over the next decade, Texas Tech Big 12 titles over 4.5.
Oof, man.
But see, the fact that you're thinking about it, how many places win 4 conference titles in a decade? I mean, has Alabama even done that? Probably. I'm gonna
say under right now, but if next year they are what they are this year, that would change. I do need to see it for some more time. So this game, 29-7, shouldn't have been that close. Texas Tech could not do anything when they got into the red zone. They kept kicking field goals.
Should have been 48-7.
And doing other things. And that has been a problem for Texas Tech all season. And I realized I'm getting very much 2024 Texas vibes, where this is a really, really good defense, but the offense may just peter out at a couple times you don't want it to and keep a game closer than it needs to be. And whoops, suddenly you're in a fight with Arizona State that you didn't expect, which is what happened to Texas last year. Now, and when I look at the concerns I would have for this team in the playoff, it is that your red zone scoring. And
top of the list. Red zone's top of the list.
Is Baron Morton going to make it there? Because he is injured. He is limping out there. And you don't have your backup quarterback, Hammond, who's now out for the season. You got what? Mitch
Griffiths, who was pouring cement not that long ago. Mitch Griffiths, who I got to be honest, I found out was playing college football like 2 weeks ago. Obviously, I remembered him from his days at Wake. I thought he'd been done playing for a while, but he has not. So
Yeah.
shout out to Mitch Crew.
Anthony Ortiz matchup San Diego State at Hawaii about to kick off. Don't miss that. Should be an underrated
Yeah, I'm
game.
not doing
Yes,
it. I'm not doing it.
absolutely.
Guys. No. Yeah.
I might. That's Hawaii's pretty solid. San Diego State
Hawaii is
7-1. They got playoff.
I would like
aspirations.
to, but in my old age, I can't do it. So.
All right, let's talk about what are the comments we want to get to. There's some.
Do we want to talk about the Vandy decision late?
Yeah, let's go. Okay,
yeah.
So yeah, the Sam Callan says, "Sorry, I'm late. If this has been talked about, just keep rolling." Clark Lee's decision to not kick the field goal near the end of regulation, I thought it was a dumb move. End quote. I also thought it was a dumb move. David did not.
No.
I thought it was dumb because I forgot. I want to say it was like 40-yard field goal.
It was a 42-yard kick, and they had 4th and 1, and they got Diego Pavia under center, and there was the clock was stopped, and they had about a minute 5.
Yeah, I would have kicked it because I trust my defense against Ashton Daniels. I know Auburn's offense had a big day in that game, but obviously it was short. The 4th down gets stopped, and Auburn gets nothing out of it. So that furthered my decision that you should have kicked it. And Vandy ends up winning in overtime, so it doesn't matter. And Vandy very much has a path to a playoff, and we're really gearing up for a spot where they face Tennessee potentially.
That's what's going to happen. I mean, they got Kentucky next week. Kentucky looked pretty good today. I mean, Florida. What is Florida? I don't know. They benched DJ Lagway today for a true freshman. Like, I don't know. Maybe maybe they'll believe in him, and there'll be another. But you
appreciated going for it, even though he got tripped up by the.
Chris, people will laugh at this, and you will probably laugh at this. But if I was playing CFP 26, I'm going for that because you don't want to give them the ball back. Again, you have probably the best. Like, would you agree that Diego Pavia, among non-service academy Blake Horvath division, the toughest quarterback that there is in the sport right now?
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a 4th and 1 and you're going to run your quarterback into the offensive line, would you take Diego Pavia over anybody else in the sport? I think I probably would at this current moment. Mm-hmm. And you have that situation. So you already you know what you want to do. You've been running the ball pretty well on the day. You've got a quarterback on their side who's throwing for 350. They got 2 crazy receivers in Singleton and Cam Coleman who have like 250 yards receiving and like a dozen catches on the day. Like, I don't want their offense to get the ball back. The odds of me getting that 4th and 1, if they run that 100 times, they probably get it 75 to 80% of it, probably something like that, I would guess. And I gotta be honest, I don't know a ton about Vandy's kicking situation, but I've seen college kickers, and you're not gonna.
They're amazing, by the way.
You're not gonna make a 43-yard kick from a hash in a clutch moment 75 times. You're just not gonna do it. And so I want to take the ball. I want to get that 1 yard. And then I want to get like 10 more yards and kick a 30-yarder from the center of the field to go win the game. That's the plan. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. But I want to put the ball in the hands of my best thing that I have, which is Diego Pavia in short yardage. Not my defense is giving up 350 yards through the air.
You know what the actual most video game coaching decision was on Saturday? It was Texas Tech going for the 4th down at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was like, it didn't matter because BYU was going to score, but that was a ridiculous decision.
It was what 16. It was what 16 to nothing. Or was it 13 or 16
to nothing?
It was
13 to nothing.
They
had a 4th and
3 or 4 yard
from
line.
The 3, and they just decided to go for it. It didn't work.
Yeah, and it was so dumb. First, take the points because you're starting the second half with the ball, and the whole benefit of going for 4th and short, if you don't get it, is it backs up the opponent. That doesn't happen when it's the end of the half. I was at the Oregon-Washington game 2 years ago in Washington when Oregon did that, and Dan Lanning
made the same mistake.
Didn't get it. It said afterward, he probably shouldn't have done that. So that might have been actually the worst call of the day. Speaking of Dan Lanning, Oregon 18, Iowa 16 in your Big Ten West special. This game was.
I enjoyed, Chris. Can I just say, as the people who say I hate the Big Ten, I very
You
much
mean you?
enjoyed this football.
You say you hate the Big Ten.
No, I don't. I don't like a lot of like when there's crappy offense that's not even trying. I don't like it. This was good defense. Teams were trying some stuff. You know, Iowa's Iowa. I enjoyed watching this game. I enjoyed the elements. I enjoyed Dan Lanning's cotton sweatshirt.
Dude.
So an Oregon reporter, I retweeted this. An Oregon reporter said he asked him about not wearing rain gear, and he said that he does it so he can be in the fight with his guys, which is simultaneously like so stupid, but also like exactly what you'd probably want your coach to say. Like it's truly like a football brain thing where it's like, well, obviously that's the right call. Whereas like as a human being trying to like have a clear and sound mind, I'm like, just put a rain jacket on. You'll be fine. So I appreciate that. It's it's one of those things that you can't help that it is what it is.
Yeah. Oregon. So like Oregon just out-toughed Iowa in this game. Like for all there's this belief for a long time that Oregon is not physical, that Oregon is not tough. And it stems back 15 years when Chip Kelly was the head coach or whatever, and they were running hurry up and all this kind of stuff. And everybody just you think Oregon's finesse. That's not
the Auburn championship games and the Ohio State championship games didn't help that perception.
Right. But that was, again, a long time ago. And that has changed where that's how the story it's really started with Mario Cristobal. Like that's the team that they built at Oregon. They just had, but people still don't think they're that. And even the commentators and Gary Danielson is like surprised that Oregon is so physical. They averaged 7.3 yards per carry at Iowa in a sleet rainstorm, and they allowed 2.3 yards per carry to Iowa. The only reason this game was close and Oregon had to bail itself out at the end is because, like Texas Tech, Oregon couldn't get in the end zone. They had 7 trips inside the 30-yard line, 1 touchdown. You had an interception. Dante Moore threw on a third down to a freshman. Just it was there. It ended up being picked off. You had a couple of field goals. I think there was another turnover in there. I think there was a fumble in there maybe. And so like football, I keep saying this. Football is about turnovers and finishing drives. That's that's ultimately what you have to do. If you cannot finish drives, that's going to come back to haunt you. And that's exactly what happened here. And credit to Iowa. Mark Gronowski, a couple of times when they needed to, hit some deep throws. This is a guy who has not done anything passing wise all season. They get down to the 4th down, QB draw, touchdown.
Well, so I will say Oregon had that covered. I thought Gary Danielson hit it. They analyzed it pretty quickly. Like they had that covered. They had the spy, but their left end got pushed back. And
they had it except for except
I'm just saying they had the call right. Because when I watched it, I was like,
I didn't know. I didn't agree. I didn't
no resistance. I was like, how did you not spy?
No, they put. There were I think 2 or 3 receivers out to Gronowski's right, and Oregon put an extra man out there, and I didn't agree with that because when it was 5 wide, it's a QB draw. It's the only thing they're calling in that situation. And 1 QB spy, I don't think was enough. And I think I know. I think I know defensive football better than Dan Lanning. Basically, is what I'm trying to say here. But I was surprised by that. But man, Dante Moore, like very quiet, kind of all season, but he made some plays on that final drive too. One of those throws,
I believe it was to Benson down that right side. That was sick. That was maybe the best throw I've seen all day.
He's doing this without DeCorian Moore, who missed the game, doing this out without Sadiq, the tight end. Those are your top 2 receivers. Bryant got hurt in the game. I don't know if he came back or not. So, like, he doesn't have many guys to throw the ball to out there. And to make that drive was, I thought, incredibly impressive. Oregon, they didn't have a good win all year. They beat a Penn State team that was, as we've talked about on the show.
The Penn State win was good. It was a different Penn State team, but okay, go ahead.
Well, it's good now because of what Indiana did, I guess. But that was, you needed to see that. Now they still have, I think, USC and Washington still to play. So like we'll see. Or if Oregon gets in the playoff, they're going to have earned their way in there. But if Iowa had won this game, you would suddenly be in a position where the Big Ten may only get 2 teams in the playoff. Like legit. Indiana and Ohio State, because after that, if Oregon loses this game, they don't have any good wins. They're down. You got USC and Michigan. USC still plays Oregon. They could knock each other out. Michigan couldn't get knocked out by Ohio State. There's a real shot. You could have had a 1-bid ACC, a 2-bid Big Ten, a 1-bid Big 12, like 6 SEC teams in the playoff. Like that is still very much in play right now. Is an SEC that is going to be loaded with at-large teams. Because of how that shakes out, because the Big Ten is just so top heavy. So incredibly impressive performance there by Oregon, much needed. And they ran the ball so well in that game. Like the game should not have been that close. It was because Oregon couldn't finish drives. That's ultimately what you got to do. Wisconsin. Let's talk about Wisconsin for a second.
Okay.
Wisconsin wins 13-10 over speaking of Big Ten and lack of depth. Wisconsin beats number 23 Washington 13-10. Wisconsin's leading passer was the punter, Sean West, who completed 1 pass for 24 yards on a fake punt. 4 different Wisconsin players threw passes. One of them tore an Achilles. And Wisconsin wins. A couple days after they announced that Luke Fickell is coming back. This was also terrible weather. A handful of Wisconsin fans out there shirtless doing it. David approves of it because they're not good.
Wisconsin. Listen, if there's a program that deserves it, Wisconsin's on the short list. Can they give them another vote of confidence after the win? Is that possible? Can they do that?
There's always
you have to.
There's always like the dead cat bounce with coaches. You saw it with Auburn. The way Auburn played today against Vanderbilt. This was like the rare vote of confidence bump. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally the vote of confidence comes like and you're done.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, man, that is so important for Wisconsin to just have a little bit of momentum, because your coach is coming back and nobody wanted it to happen. And suddenly you have a top 25 win, as ugly as it was. That's something that gets everybody off your back for a minute. That gets Big Cat off your back and stuff like that. So, we all thought Wisconsin would be 2-10, and they're not. And maybe they're only 3-9, but it's a lot better than 2-10. Washington, I've never really liked them this season. And I think it's notable now because Ohio State now won't have a top 25 win, right? Their best win was I think their best win was probably at Washington.
Well, what do we believe in Illinois? What's their record now?
It's probably Illinois now. Illinois
6-3. I thought that's what I thought.
Yeah. So like in terms of who's number 1 right now, Ohio State or Ohio State blew out Purdue today? Is that who they played? Yeah.
Yeah, they were a little bit of a slow start, but they were fine.
I have had Indiana ahead of Ohio State for weeks now, just because their resume was better because they went to Oregon and won. And so at the moment, I don't know what I'm going to do for number 1, because you can easily say, well, look, Indiana, Ohio State played Penn State back-to-back weeks. You can see it. Ohio State's better. That is true. Now, if you compare the Illinois games, Indiana's is better. And Indiana still has a much better resume. Now, they won't have 2 top 20 wins because Oregon and Iowa played each other. But the Oregon win is suddenly a lot better win, and the Iowa win is worse. So, like, I don't know. I probably will have to put Ohio State number 1 just because of that Indiana performance. But I was very surprised. We talked about it. We were both surprised that the committee had Indiana number 2. And then here's the other point. As Sam Callan says in the comments, will the CFP bump Texas A&M up over Indiana? Texas A&M beat a ranked team handily on the road. Indiana beat a 500 team by an inch.
What's the difference in Mizzou without Bo Pribula and Penn State without Drew Aller? Like, what are we? I don't know. It's kind of the same.
Yeah, Texas A&M won 38-17. Never really was in any danger.
No, they were
got up pretty
dominant from
big.
the start in that game. It was kind of ugly for the first like quarter and a half, but Mizzou couldn't move the ball with Zollers. Chris, do we want to do a brief Belichick Dion check-in?
Sure. I didn't watch any of them, so you tell me.
I watched a good bit of both of them. Colorado they had some fight. I mean, listen, the last 2 weeks they've been down like 45-7, 38-7 and half. They, played not very good.
Ohio State's best win was Texas. Duh. Obviously, forgot about that. My bad.
Okay. Anyway, yes. So they're playing at West Virginia. Colorado, like they start Juju Lewis today, the freshman. He threw for like 292. I suspect. Listen, I think people are a little over their skis on Juju in his first start. We'll see. Like, it was pretty good. They got some good receivers. He's a piece that I think you can kind of want to have, but it might be hard for them to keep him. You got to do some stuff there. We'll see there. But, like, they showed some fight. You find a piece that you can sort of look at. Dion, after the game, basically said, like, changes are coming. Like, USA Today reported last week that he already demoted Pat Shurmur, moved Brett Barloni up there. Like, yeah. I think you're going.
Is it true? I didn't see, but I heard this. Is it true that Dion called a timeout when the clock was stopped?
I missed that. I wasn't watching.
Apparently, Dion had some horrible clock management late in that game.
He's done some weird clock management stuff in general, and then he like the Georgia Tech game was bad, and then he like doubled down on it, and it's like, no, you misused your timeouts. Yeah. Ultimately, I think what you're going to get is a Colorado complete staff reboot at the end of the year. I think that's what you're going to get. But we'll see.
We will go through all the game. By the way, we'll have our normal Monday reaction show where we will have gone through more of these games and checked out what Dion did with the play calling. But yeah, Colorado not going to a bowl game, and apparently all the boomers on Facebook are happy about it. David,
yeah, you'd be shocked to know that the boomers don't love Dion. Speaking of boomers, Bill Belichick, the UNC Renaissance continues. I said this. Chris, I think I said this in early September. I said, this team is not very good, but I think the true test of the Belichick thing is, what does this team look like by the end of the season? Indisputably, Chris, this team is getting a lot better. They're not.
Correct. They literally could not get worse, but yes.
Yes. Pretty solid win over Stanford today and Frank Reich. They dominated.
They were up 20. They were up 20-3, and then Stanford come back late.
Yeah, they came back a little bit. I mean, it was never serious, but yes.
No, they
dominated kind of a hamstrung Syracuse team last week, and then obviously
that's the thing. I'm more impressed by what they did against Virginia and Cal than I am their 2 wins over Syracuse and Stanford.
Sure, that's fair, but ultimately they looked completely punchless and
David,
hopeless.
Your camera die?
It was unplugged. We'll see. But yeah,
change it to your computer. I'll start talking here.
Yeah,
there you go. Oh, there you go.
No, they looked completely punchless for a while, and now they don't. Now they look like they got a pulse, and we'll see.
The defense has certainly been pretty good, honestly, for the last 5 weeks or so. Since that Clemson debacle and the bye week, they've allowed 21 to Cal, 17 to Virginia in overtime, 10 to Syracuse, 15 to Stanford. That's solid. That's exactly what you want. So it is getting better. They're 4-5 now. They finish with at Wake, Duke at home, at NC State. They could lose all those games.
They could lose them all, but it's the ACC, Chris. They could also win them all. Listen, you want to talk about wide open leagues? There you go.
Let's get back into the ACC because we had some questions early. Kreis, is the ACC trending to be a 1-bid league after tonight? Yeah.
Trending
absolutely.
That way. Yeah.
I mean,
the dream of the 4-bid ACC is dead.
Yeah. At this point, you probably won't have a top 15 team. I mean, Georgia Tech was 17, Miami was 8. Tech, I don't think, played today, and Miami handled Syracuse. So like they might be around that 15 range, but I don't see there's any shot of the ACC getting 2, because what you would need is what happened last year, which was SMU was in the field going into the championship game, then lost, but the committee said we don't want to hurt teams that happens to. You might have one team barely in the field if you're the ACC going into the end. So I can't see a team on here other than Georgia. If Georgia Tech, well, that's not true. If Georgia Tech wins out, beats Georgia to close the regular season, they're 11-1. Then they get upset by somebody in the ACC championship game. That is the only path to 2. And I guess it's possible. Like, I wouldn't. Georgia Tech plays Georgia pretty well under Brent Key, so like that's it. That's the only path for them. And in terms of the Big 12, BYU losing did not help. What you wanted was BYU to go undefeated, then get upset. You get 2 teams. Now let's say we have a BYU Texas Tech rematch. They're both 11-1. Say BYU wins, so they've beaten each other. That's probably going to get you 2 in the Big 12, right?
Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech, clearly the committee respects like Texas Tech beating the crap out of everybody.
They should.
You can say Texas Tech. They should. You can say Texas Tech doesn't have good wins. That's probably a fair criticism. But go find me these teams.
No, that's not true. That's not true, by the way. No. They beat top 10 BYU. They'll be out of the top 10, but probably top 15 BYU. And they beat top 15 Utah. They have Utah at number 13 in the country, and they blew them out. So those are good wins for Texas Tech. And it's very easy to say, we didn't have our starting quarterback in that Arizona State game. Don't hurt us too much, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I think Texas Tech, I'm not ready to say lock territory, but it's really close. Because you're not losing to UCF or West Virginia.
No.
So, you're 11-1 in. It's
with
hard
2
to
top
see
15-ish wins.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to see them losing that championship game and not making it. You know, like they might be on lock territory. Texas Tech. Dr. Morpheus, do you really think Georgia Tech's going to be Georgia, who has been improving every week? Did you see the game last year?
Yeah, I don't know about beat, but like
they should have beat them. They should. They were 1 play away from beating Georgia like 7 times in that game.
Yeah.
And the year prior,
it'll be tight. We'll see.
They have covered 2 years in a row under Brent Key. The previous game when Georgia Tech was terrible was like an 8-point game or something like that. Like Georgia Tech has played this game tough. And I imagine look, they might not. Georgia could blow them out, but like, I would not feel confident I don't know what the line for that game would be under a touchdown, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be a 3.5, 5.
Yeah,
something like that.
So,
where is it?
So, is this the one that's in the NFL stadium this year? They moved the one from at Georgia Tech Stadium to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yep, it's at the NFL stadium.
Mercedes-Benz. Okay,
yes.
I mean, so it's going to be
it's going to be a Georgia home
Georgia
game.
fans, 80%. Yeah,
yeah, but better. Is it better than them taking over your home stadium? I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't take over your home stadium. I don't know. But of all the years, this is probably not the year you wish you had given up that home game.
Yeah. I mean, schools have their tricks to not have their stadium taken over. You know, you can lock access to some of these. Like to get tickets to this game, you got to have season tickets, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. That game has been must-see TV the last few years, so I'm looking forward to it.
You and I were watching that game at Texas A&M last year. We were watching it at dinner.
We were watching it at was it Rosa's in College Station, Texas?
Yes. Yep. And then I
Shout
drove
out to the Rosa's. I introduced Chris to Rosa's sopapillas. So
it's good.
Yeah,
it was good. I'm doing Texas A&M again this year in Austin. I think, and then I drove all the way. I think I drove all the way back to Waco.
Yeah, I think
that's
where
my hotel was.
We were staying in Houston, and you were in Waco. Yeah, so I drove back to. I was staying like on the very northwest corner of Houston because I knew we were gonna have to be doing that, so I didn't want to have to like go to like downtown Houston. But yeah.
So Are you going to the ACC championship game? By the way, do you know?
I'm 90% sure. I
Yeah, because like
that, but like, I mean,
you live in Charlotte, I live in Dallas.
20 minutes from the stadium.
Yeah, I imagine I will be doing Big 12 championship. You will be doing ACC championship. Those are going to be perhaps the two most interesting conference championship games.
Yeah,
Really?
well, those are the championship games that probably need to exist. Whereas, like the Big Ten and the SEC, as I've written and yelled about, are pointless.
By the way, everything that has played out this year is further emphasizing that the SEC does not have anything to do with what Tony Petitti and Fox are selling about a 2014 league with 4 multi-bids per conference. Like they have like Mark Keenum, the president of Mississippi State, who's the president of the CFP board, said that this week. He's like, no, we don't want to do that. Greg Sankey today was like, no, we don't want to do that. And you know why they don't want to do that? Because they don't need to do that. You know who needs to do it? The Big Ten needs to do it because they're getting 3 bids. Because they're probably getting 3 bids max this year. The SEC might get like 5 or more, depending on how things play out. So there's no incentive for the SEC to do anything the Big Ten wants to do. It is almost assured we are going to have the same 12-team playoff next year. They're not going to come to an agreement in time to change it for next year.
We got 3 weeks left.
Not even moving it up to 16. It appears that they're so far apart on that.
It's weird though, Chris, because I believe that that's true. But the SEC's got work to do to snap the national championship win streak from the Big Ten because the Big Ten is so top heavy. You look around at the SEC, it's like there's a bunch of pretty good teams in the SEC, but they're flawed. They play weird games. They're all pretty beatable. Like Bama seems to be improving. Georgia a little bit as well. Like we're seeing them look a little bit different than they did in September. But Ohio State and Indiana look like a class above those 2 teams. The entire SEC at this point.
This is why 12 is fun because it's like, like that Big 12 championship game and ACC championship game. Like these games will mean more. You have to have a cutoff where it's not like, we know they're all going to get in. That wouldn't be fun. So
no,
it's very, very likely going to stay at 12 for at least next year. We'll see how it goes. Couple other things to shout out here. G5 real quick. Tulane. Yeah. This is on Friday night.
Got the job done.
Barely. Beat Memphis 38-32. They were up 21 at half going into the fourth quarter. Memphis had the ball with a chance to win. Tulane gets a stop. The night before, USF 55, UTSA 23. Craziest start to a game I've ever seen. It was by the time USF's offense took the field for the first time, it was 14-3 because it was a pick six, it was a muff, it was the
scoop and score, bubble return,
scoop and score, crazy. UCF would be my favorite for the Group 5 spot right now.
USF,
yes, USF, and we'll see how North Texas does. In Tulane, it may come down to whether Tulane or North Texas are ranked or the computers. And last I checked, the computers like North Texas more than Tulane.
It's going to be a fun race because I think USF and Tulane are on a completely different plane on the line of scrimmage, but North Texas has got the best quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, North Texas got the best quarterback. Like I trust Mestamaker probably more than I trust Byron Brown. Like if he's got to run around, if you're winning, Byron Brown is a headache. If you need a 2-minute drill and you can't really run with the quarterback, give me Mestamaker. So that race has been fun this year. Chris, what do you buy of James Madison like sneaking in this? I haven't really taken it seriously. It seems like the American champion is going to be that team, but there's a James Madison drumbeat. Do you buy this?
Well, some of those metrics that I hate have James Madison as like the 3rd most likely team, like even ahead of Tulane. And I don't see the path because you would need, like, I think even a 2-loss, USF's already got 2 losses. Tulane's got 2. You need everybody to have 3 losses or more. And it's becoming less and less likely. Like Tulane finishes with FAU, Temple, Charlotte. So like maybe it's possible.
FAU's been pretty spicy. Temple is okay. Charlotte is terrible.
USF finishes with Navy next week, then UAB and Rice. If they get past Navy, they're in. And North Texas finishes with UAB Rice Temple. So there's a very good chance North Texas is one-loss team. By the way, North Texas, like if they get to 11-1, like they may be ranked, first of all. So you would need some combination. You would need probably a 3-loss American Conference champion in order to get a James Madison in. By the way, the other team in that mix, San Diego State, currently down 14-3 to Hawaii. So that hurts their chances too. But I'm not ruling James Madison out, but it would take a lot of things, and I like Tulane's chances more because if they get in the conference championship game, they won't play USF. We'll see about that. Did you see the end of the Delaware Louisiana Tech game?
I read about it. I watched
This
the
was
kick.
insane.
I didn't actually see it.
Delaware was down 17-16 to Louisiana Tech with like 2 and something minutes left, I think. They throw a pick 6. So now they're down 8. They drive, score a touchdown, miss the 2-point conversion with like 40, 50 seconds left. So they're still down 2. They recover the onside kick and kick a 51-yard field goal and win the game. Crazy.
That is a
win
true
for Delaware.
chaos agent.
That's a big one for Louisiana Tech, by the way. A hot seat situation with Sonny Cumbie there. You win that game, you get to 6 wins. Like, you've improved the team. And man, that is a tough one for them to take. Our boy Teron Dickens. Remember we talked about him on this pod a few times? The guy who is putting up the craziest quarterback numbers in the country. Teron Dickens, 551 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception against Mercer. However,
that sounds like Lenore Sellers numbers in our CFP 26 dynasty, Chris.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
However, Western Carolina missed a 33-yard field goal as time expired, and they lost by 2.
Where is he in the? Is that the Harlan Hill Trophy? Is that what it's called?
Jerry Rice, or maybe it's
the Harlan Hill Trophy is Division II. What is the FCS?
Is it the Jerry Rice one? The FCS Heisman?
The FCS Heisman. Is he in the mix there?
Either way, he's putting up ridiculous numbers for Western Carolina. A quarterback name to watch. That's his first loss. They were 6-0 with him. But another big game, didn't get it done. Arizona beats Kansas, bowl eligible Arizona. And another weird one where Kansas is up 3 late.
Missed a 30-yarder.
They were facing like 4th and 2, I think. And instead of going for it and the win, they kicked the field goal to go up 6, but they miss it anyway. Arizona drives down, winning touchdown run. Big win for Brent Brennan, another like kind of hot seat guy. Looked like the crowd was not great today, but they have 6 wins now. They're 6-3, I think. They're clearly an improved team. So
speaking of bad crowds, Chris, did you see the clip of Butch Jones today?
No, but I know they lost to Southern Miss.
They come out on the stadium and he like threw his hands up and was like, "Where are the fans?"
Arkansas State.
There's a sowing and reaping thing that's going on in there.
Arkansas State had won like 2 or 3 in a row to get to like 4-4 or something. They were playing pretty well, but Southern Miss beats them 27-21. Southern Miss is 7-2. They were 1-11 last year. They hired Charles Huff from Marshall, who had won the Sun Belt with Marshall amid a divorce. Brought a bunch of Marshall players with them to Southern Miss, and now they're good. And now they have a shot to play in the Sun Belt Championship game. So Charles Huff's doing a good job there. Currently watching Nebraska's up 28-14 on UCLA. This is like Latif, 11 for 13 passing, 3 touchdowns. Like, that's solid.
The parts that I saw early, they weren't asking to do a lot. They like, Emmett Johnson, they're hitting him on some screens. Like that. I feel like they had a good game plan for him that was working.
It also feels like the spark from UCLA has kind of gone out, and they're back to kind of what they were. But that would, if Nebraska wins this game, gets to 7-3.
This is one of the games Tim Skipper coached, right? The other games was Jerry Neuheisel.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to? We'll again, we're going to do our full normal recap show for Monday. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll have that normal show on Monday. We just like doing the rare times we're both home on Saturday nights. We like to do the After Dark show and just kind of freewheel things as they go.
Yeah.
In terms of potential firings tomorrow, probably not, but I'm still keeping an eye on Maryland. They lost 35-20 to Rutgers despite rushing for 300 yards. Another tough one there for Maryland. Baylor didn't play. Michigan State didn't play. Yeah, I don't see any other firings. Kentucky won. Boston College, I don't think they're going to fire O'Brien in his second year because they don't have any money. So probably not getting any firings tomorrow unless it's maybe a group of 5 one. So it could be, I feel like we've had a coach fired like every Sunday for the past like 4 or 5 weeks. That may finally stop. Famous last words is probably gonna be like 3. I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff to do. But yeah, man, this was fun. It was an interesting day. Like ultimately not that much happened and the night slate kind of sucked, but then it turned out you get Indiana Penn State playing a crazy finish, one of the plays of the year we're going to remember.
Yeah.
You have 2 top 15 ACC teams go down.
Yeah. The ACC goes full ACC at night.
Yeah, so like some stuff ultimately ended up happening. It may not change much in the playoff rankings a ton, but I don't know. It was a solid, good day of college football. I woke up. I actually had a dream. I had a dream last night that it was like the final day of the regular season. Like it was rivalry day. I was like, man, how are we already at the end of the season? But like we are almost there. This has been a very fast moving season. It's been a fun season.
Rivalry week 2 weeks away, right?
I feel like
3.
Yeah. Thanksgiving weekend. It may be. I don't know if we'll have many upsets the next 2 weeks. I don't know if there's a ton of big games the next 2 weeks. Because then
let's clip this. We'll clip that.
Well, but then we'll get to rivalry Saturday, Friday weekend, and could have all hell break loose, frankly, as we often do. So
Ohio State won't. They'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. I'm gonna stay up for the Hawaii game, I think.
I'm not. I'm going to sleep.
You make sure you charge that camera, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the camera. We'll figure that out. It was charged. Last year I had a bad habit of leaving it on.
Yes, you did.
And then like it would die in the middle of the show. I did not do that today. I don't know what happened. So we'll see. Anyway.
So according to the StreamYard thing, we've had more than 2,000 people in here for a while. I imagine most of you are doing that via Twitter, where I posted it.
It's called X, Chris. Get it right.
It's called Twitter. And please subscribe to the podcast if it's your first time here on the show. We have a much more organized and structured show that goes at least
After
twice
Dark
a week.
is a hangout. It's a hangout that goes in the feed. The rest of the show is,
Please jump to the YouTube channel. We're going to go live there as well on Tuesday during playoff rankings. And then we'll have a kind of more detailed look at the weekend that was. On Monday, we'll have a preview episode come out on Thursday. And
that's not true.
Yes, it is, Mike. That is true. That's what our schedule is.
What's up, Trevor?
I think Trevor's checking out. I think we're both checking out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, David, for staying up. I wanted to keep this going just because we had so many people in. So please follow the show if you haven't, wherever you follow shows. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. I love college football, man.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
I'd love it more if they brought back the turnover chain, Chris. But hey, beggars can't be choosers.
We will talk to you on Monday. See you.